at a time when only 1% of Americans currently serve in the military in any capacity. The other 99% owe a debt of gratitude. Those who served are good. They ensure the greatness of America. And while we recognize the sacrifice of so many of our sons and daughters, parents and family, we must also recognize the great optimism that led these folks to enlist, to serve in our country, in our defense, and to defend us and our freedoms. I am here today, not just as an Army veteran, not just as the Veterans Court judge here in Spokane County. I am here as a Gold Star parent. August 6th, 2022, I joined a club I never wanted to join. On that day, my son Preston died while on active duty in the Navy. Preston knew early on that he wanted to serve in the Navy. As a 7-year-old, while other kids are struggling to build a paper airplane, Preston was cutting apart my wire hangers out of my closet. He was making frames for a submarine. In fact, a whole set of submarines. He used my duct tape to wrap a skin around that frame. He wrote out a set of technical specifications for those submarines, and he wanted to give them to the Navy to help protect our nation. He knew his dad was a JAG officer in the Army, so he asked if I would give him an introduction to the Secretary of the Navy so that he could present these submarines to the Navy. I told him I'd see what I could do. A decade later, Preston Johnson, as a 17-year-old senior at Mount Spokane High School, wanted to join the Navy. He needed his parents to sign the release so that he could enter the Navy's delayed entry program. I was proud to sign his paperwork. Preston enlisted in the Navy because he truly believed in the greatness of our country, and he wanted to be part of defending this great nation. He didn't join for the college benefits. I don't fault anybody who did join for the benefits. They are great benefits. But that was not why Preston joined. He wasn't even sure he wanted to go to college. He was plenty smart. He scored a 96 on his ASVAB. For those of you who know that test, you know it only goes up to 99. Preston was quick to point out that his 96 beat my 94 that I earned in the 80s. I got a call from Preston midway through boot camp. I was excited to hear from him. I was concerned. I asked him how he was holding up. I expected him to put on a brave face. I expected him to say, "It's tough, but I'm getting through." Instead, without missing a beat, Preston said, "It's not that bad." I was skeptical. I wasn't sure I believed him. I followed up. I said, "Are you sure you're doing okay?" He said, "Dad, I worked at Albertsons, where they made me clean toilets 6 times a day in an 8-hour shift. The Navy only makes me clean toilets once a day. This gig is pretty good." Preston sailed through boot camp. He was his honor grad in A school. He went to promotion boards. Preston got promoted 4 times in a 2-year period, becoming a petty officer, 2nd class, an aviation machinist mate, maintaining and repairing jet engines. He asked for and was granted an assignment at Whidbey Island Naval Air Station, where he served with the Skinny Dragons. Preston loved the Navy. He loved the people he worked with, and he loved our country. But Preston battled demons that he kept private. He faced a constant battle in his own mind. His secret war with mental health took a daily toll on my son. He fought to keep the demons at bay, but eventually He reached his limits. He was tired of fighting. He could not go on. My Preston took his own life. Preston is buried here at the Washington State Veterans Cemetery. Joining him at his funeral were most of his squadron who flew overhead in Preston's P-8 Poseidon. It was the very aircraft that Preston worked hard to keep in the air. The big white jet flew circles around this cemetery during his funeral, paying tribute to someone who devoted his heart and soul to the Navy. The Navy later authorized the aircraft to display an official dedication to Preston Johnson, and his name is showcased on the landing gear fairings of that aircraft. And so too, we recognize and celebrate those who work with our veteran community to address the struggles faced by those who have served. There are many who contribute to helping our veterans so that they don't become another statistic. I'll name just a few. I do want to give a shout out to the Spokane Veterans Forum, the mentors who assist in the forum, and the Spokane Veterans Court. The motto of the Spokane Veterans Court is "No veteran stands alone." This program helps to connect veterans with mental health services, substance abuse treatment, and connect them with housing assistance. To date, 69 of our graduates report their belief that without the program, they would have taken their own lives. I also want to thank the military spouses who provide support for our service members, including my wife, Dana. I want to thank the hardworking folks at the VA hospital here in Spokane, including my son my son Patrick and his wife Courtney, who both work at the VA hospital. And I want to thank Kirsten Lyons and the Fallen Heroes program for remembering those who gave all to our nation. And I want to thank all of you for being here today and honoring those who gave all to defend our great nation and recognizing their sacrifice. Thank you.